There is growing attention around the legal battle involving Nnamdi Kanu, and now a new twist is raising fresh questions across Nigeria. Reports surrounding an alleged attempt to transfer him to a far more remote detention location in Sokoto have triggered heated reactions online, legal debates in political circles, and concern among supporters and critics alike. But what exactly happened? Why did the court reportedly block the move? And why are many Nigerians saying this could completely change the direction of Kanu's long-running freedom battle? For many people following this case closely, this is no longer just about one man. It has become a wider conversation about the Nigerian justice system, detention rights, political tension, regional trust, and how sensitive cases are handled behind the scenes. And now, with reports indicating that legal efforts were made to stop a possible transfer to one of Nigeria's most distant prison facilities, many are asking whether this was simply a routine security consideration or something much more strategic. Before we go deeper, if you enjoy detailed Nigerian political updates and balanced breakdowns like this, take a second to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with others following the Kanu case closely. And most importantly, drop your thoughts in the comments because this story is already dividing opinions across the country. Now, according to legal discussions circulating around the ongoing proceedings, Kanu's legal team reportedly pushed back strongly against any move that could place him farther away from his lawyers, family members, and the main judicial process currently tied to his case. Reports indicate concerns were raised that transferring him to a remote correctional facility in the far northwest could complicate access to legal consultations and delay preparations connected to future court appearances. Although official confirmation on every detail remains limited, what appears clear is that the issue of prison location suddenly became a major legal argument inside the courtroom. And once that happened, attention quickly shifted from the broader trial itself to the question of detention conditions and access rights. For viewers who may not fully understand why this matters so much, here is the bigger picture. In high-profile legal cases, especially politically sensitive ones, the location where a defendant is held can significantly affect how easily lawyers can communicate with their client, how often family visits can happen, and even how quickly court-related logistics move forward. If a defendant is kept extremely far from the courts handling the matter, legal teams often argue that it creates unnecessary barriers. That is why this latest development is attracting national attention. Sokoto is one of Nigeria's most distant states from the southeast region, where Kanu's support base is strongest, and also far from Abuja, where much of the legal process surrounding his case has unfolded over time. So when reports emerged suggesting concerns over a possible transfer there, many supporters immediately interpreted it as an attempt to isolate him further from both his legal network and his followers. At the same time, some analysts are cautioning Nigerians against jumping to conclusions too quickly. They argue that prison transfers can happen for various administrative or security reasons, especially in sensitive cases involving national attention. According to some legal observers, correctional authorities sometimes review detention arrangements based on operational concerns rather than political motives. But despite those arguments, suspicion continues to grow because of how emotionally charged the Kanu case already is. And this is where the situation becomes even more complicated. Over the years, the legal battle surrounding Nnamdi Kanu has evolved far beyond a normal courtroom dispute. Supporters of the indigenous people of Biafra, often known as IPOB, have consistently argued that his detention represents a deeper political issue tied to long-standing grievances in parts of the southeast. On the other hand, Nigerian authorities have repeatedly maintained that the matter is fundamentally about national security and the enforcement of Nigerian law. Because of that divide, nearly every development connected to the case immediately becomes politically sensitive. Even a prison transfer discussion can quickly spark speculation, protests on social media, and accusations from multiple sides. According to local accounts surrounding the recent court session, Kanu's legal representatives reportedly argued that any attempt to move him to a distant prison facility could interfere with his constitutional rights and ongoing legal preparations. Some reports suggest the court responded cautiously and did not immediately approve any such transfer arrangement. That response alone has now fueled headlines claiming the court blocked the move entirely. However, legal experts are warning people to separate confirmed court rulings from online interpretations. In Nigeria's current information environment, partial court updates often spread rapidly online before full legal documents become publicly available. That means viewers should approach dramatic claims carefully until verified court records or official statements provide complete clarity. Still, one thing is undeniable. This issue has reignited national conversation around Kanu's detention conditions and the broader future of his trial. And many Nigerians are now asking an important question. Why would the possibility of a Sokoto transfer create such intense reaction in the first place? Part of the answer lies in geography and perception. Sokoto sits in the extreme northwest of Nigeria, far from many of the areas where protests and support campaigns connected to Kanu have historically been strongest. For supporters, that distance carries symbolic meaning. Some fear it could weaken access, reduce visibility around his situation, or complicate legal coordination. But beyond symbolism, there are also practical concerns. Lawyers often need regular communication with detained clients, especially in complicated cases involving constitutional arguments, appeals, and multiple court processes. Family visits also matter because they can affect emotional support and public confidence regarding detention conditions. Critics of the proposed transfer idea argue that moving a high-profile detainee far away during active legal proceedings could create unnecessary tension at a time when many Nigerians are already calling for calm and dialogue. Meanwhile, others see the issue differently. Some commentators believe correctional authorities should retain flexibility to determine detention locations based on operational assessments, provided legal rights are respected. They argue that public pressure should not dictate prison administration decisions in sensitive national security matters. This disagreement reflects the wider divide that has followed the Kanu case from the beginning. And while legal arguments continue, political implications are also quietly growing in the background. Several political figures and regional voices have recently renewed calls for peaceful resolution, legal transparency, and political dialogue concerning tensions in the southeast. Some believe prolonged uncertainty around Kanu's case continues to deepen mistrust between communities and federal authorities. Others insist the courts must simply be allowed to continue independently without political interference from any direction. The timing of this latest controversy is also important because Nigeria is gradually moving toward another intense political season ahead of 2027 conversations. Analysts say emotionally charged national issues like this could once again become major talking points in political debates, especially among opposition figures trying to mobilize public support across different regions. That is why every courtroom update connected to Kanu now attracts massive national attention almost immediately. But beyond politics and legal strategy, ordinary Nigerians are also focused on another concern: national stability. Many citizens simply want a peaceful resolution that reduces tension rather than inflaming it further. Over the years, parts of the Southeast have experienced periods of unrest, economic disruption, and security challenges linked to separatist tensions and government crackdowns. Businesses suffered, residents faced uncertainty, and communities experienced growing fear during some periods of heightened confrontation. Because of that history, many Nigerians now view every major development in Kanu's case through the lens of whether it will calm tensions or increase them. And this is why the alleged Sokoto transfer issue struck such a nerve. To supporters, it felt like a possible escalation. To others, it may have appeared like a routine administrative discussion exaggerated online. But regardless of interpretation, the reaction itself shows how emotionally sensitive this case remains years after Kanu's arrest and extradition back to Nigeria. Another interesting aspect of this situation is how social media has amplified public reactions. Within hours of the reports emerging, discussions exploded across Nigerian political spaces online. Some users described the alleged transfer attempt as a trap, while others accused influencers of spreading incomplete information for emotional effect. This reflects a wider problem in Nigeria's digital information space today. Complex legal developments are often reduced into dramatic headlines designed to trigger outrage or fear before full facts become available. And when emotions are already high, many people react fast before verifying details carefully. That is why balanced reporting matters here. At the moment, what can reasonably be said is this. Reports indicate concerns were raised in court over the possibility of moving Nnamdi Kanu to a more remote prison location, and legal resistance to such a move appears to have gained attention. Beyond that, many finer details remain subject to ongoing clarification. Still, the political and emotional impact is already significant. And if you followed the Kanu story for years, you'll notice something important about this latest phase. Increasingly, the debate is shifting beyond only the original charges and into wider discussions about detention conditions, procedural fairness, access rights, and political reconciliation. That shift could influence how the case is viewed nationally moving forward. For some Nigerians, the core issue remains national unity and security. For others, the focus is civil liberties, regional fairness, and judicial transparency. And somewhere between those positions lies a legal battle that continues to shape political conversation across the country. One major question now is whether this controversy could affect future court proceedings themselves. Legal analysts say disputes over detention arrangements can sometimes create additional motions, delays, or procedural arguments inside ongoing cases. If that happens here, the already lengthy legal process surrounding Kanu could become even more complicated. And complication is the last thing many Nigerians want right now. The country is already facing serious conversations around economic pressure, security concerns, political realignments, and regional trust. Adding further tension to an already sensitive national case could increase polarization if not handled carefully by all sides involved. That is why many observers are urging caution in public commentary. They warn against inflammatory rhetoric, misinformation, or emotionally charged narratives that could worsen division unnecessarily. At the same time, they also stress the importance of transparency from institutions handling such sensitive matters. In high-profile national cases, lack of clear communication often creates room for rumors to spread rapidly. As this story continues developing, Nigerians across different regions will be watching closely to see what happens next, whether the court issues further clarification, whether detention arrangements remain unchanged, and whether broader political dialogue around the Southeast situation gains new momentum again. And perhaps most importantly, many people are asking whether this latest twist signals another long chapter in the Kanu legal saga, or the beginning of a different approach entirely. For now, the answers remain uncertain. But one thing is clear. This case continues to carry enormous legal, political, and emotional weight across Nigeria. And every new development keeps reigniting national debate in ways few other issues can. If you've made it this far, let us know your honest thoughts in the comments. Do you think concerns over the alleged prison transfer are justified? Or do you believe the situation is being overinterpreted online? And as always, stay informed, subscribe for more balanced Nigerian political updates, share this video with others following the story, and keep the conversation respectful as events continue to unfold.